well, because technically players can't talk to the organizations, only the agents can. And then there's a quote out there, I think it was James Franklin, said that he said something like Saquon Barkley had talked to Howie Roseman about the culture of the Eagles, and people are like, as you would go, wee-oo, wee-oo, wee-oo. So, but like, it's the same thing in the NBA. They have a legal tampering period. These guys all have deals agreed upon beforehand anyway. It's not like they suddenly figured out. It was like, oh yeah, and the Falcons, minutes into the legal tampering period, had an agreement with Kirk Cousins. Yeah, the same thing happened with Kevin Durant and the Nets. It took like 2 minutes. And you think they figured it out in 2 minutes? No. Agents and teams are talking way, way in advance. But, we're seeing some teams go different directions when it comes to quarterback. The Seahawks today traded for Sam Howell. Now, this isn't a big, line moving, market moving situation here. I'll just say this. It's good for we see what Washington's doing. A lot of one-year deals for guys. Sam Howell, the writing was on the wall. They get a third-round pick. They get a fifth-round pick. Sam Howell goes. They send a fourth and a sixth back. It's a good spot for them. But Seattle was an interesting spot for Justin Fields. So now it looks like it's going to be Sam Howell maybe getting an opportunity to at least, try to compete with Geno Smith for that starting spot there. The question now becomes, where the hell is Justin Fields going to go? What is the market for him?
Here's my take on Russ. 2 years ago, he was awful. He was legitimately one of the worst quarterbacks in football. Last season, he wasn't bad. I'm not saying he's great. I'm not saying he was Seattle Russ, but he was not a bad quarterback. I think Sean Payton had it in his mind over the summer. I don't like this guy. The guy. I'm not going to make it work, because when you look at how Russ played and his numbers and all that kind of stuff, you get the feeling like if Payton wanted to make it work, he could have. But they made up their mind early on that this Russ thing, we're just dumping him. So I think the Steelers are getting a guy who's not that bad, but I also have it in the back of my mind of maybe he is washed up. Maybe the guy we saw 2 years ago is what we see out of Russ going forward. Maybe his personality rubs everybody the wrong way, as it can sometimes. I love the gamble for the Steelers. It's not a gamble for the Steelers. They're paying him $1.2 million. That's a dude running down on the punt team, okay? Like, they're paying nothing. Gardner Minshew is going to make 10 times more than Russell Wilson this year. So no risk involved for the Steelers, but I could see any range of outcomes here. I think it's going to work out okay. Where the Steelers are pretty good, playoff contender, all that. I could see a situation where he's really, really good and the Steelers make a deep playoff run and win that division. I can see a situation where Kenny Pickett beats him out in training camp, and we're talking about maybe Russ should just retire. Anything's on the table here. I have no idea what to make of Russell Wilson anymore.
Frank, why is Justin Fields still a Bear?
I think what happened was the market just never materialized for him the way the Bears thought. That they thought, hey, we're going to get a second-round pick for him. Some team that desperate a quarterback is going to move for him. That didn't happen. And then all of a sudden, musical chairs started. Once the Steelers and Falcons were off the board, and Raiders too with Minshew, once those three teams are off the board and have their quarterback, where does he really go? I mean, I've sat around and I've been asked this question about where's Justin Fields play next year. I don't have a good answer for anybody. I think it's going to be somebody creative like the Seahawks, even the Jets. I mean, teams that have their starter for 2024 but don't know about 2025 yet. It's going to take something like that, because I can't see a scenario. I still think it's draft Williams. I don't think they're changing their mind on that. But what do you do with Justin Fields? It would just be so awkward to be like, hey, Caleb, welcome to the team. There's Justin Fields right there, a guy everybody in Chicago seems to love and his teammates supported all last season. No pressure, no awkwardness, right? Like, there's just no way Justin Fields could be a member of the Bears once Caleb Williams becomes aboard. Just too awkward. So I just think they unload him for whatever they can get. I mean, we saw Desmond Ridder move today, and he didn't move for much. It might be much less than the Bears thought, but I think at the end of the day, Justin Fields just has to be traded on draft day to avoid this whole weird scenario with him and Caleb.
Here's the thing, though. Why did it take the Bears so long to figure out you got to get some weapons for a young quarterback?
You literally gave Justin Fields 1 year of having anyone.
Are you kidding me?
And DJ had some great games.
If I'm Justin Fields, I am absolutely furious watching the team that you're still on the roster, but you're getting traded away from, is now going after Keenan Allen for only a fourth-round pick, who was, by the way, props machine last year. DeAndre Swift in the backfield. You had DJ Moore for 1 year. And like, I was just sitting there like, oh, yes, of course I didn't show enough to you guys because you didn't give me anything.
Literally, Caleb Williams barely has to do the bare minimum. As long as the offensive line protects him, he is going to cook. Why? Because the cupboards are filled with ingredients.
I mean, it's mind-blowing to me. And again, the Bears also have the 9th overall pick. Now, I doubt they go with like a Rome Odunze or somebody like that if they're on the board at this point.
Oh boy.
What if they did?
I mean, Rome, Odunze, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, DeAndre Swift, Caleb Williams, and that nasty defense, and they've gotten better defensively. Oh, yes, they have.
Because you said something yesterday that stood out to me, and I feel like I'm going to be on the right side here. But first, did you hear what Derrick Henry said about all the people that said his best days are behind him?
No, I did not.
He said, tell them to keep watching. People always are going to have something to say, always going to have opinions. I'm just ready to work, ready to get things started, and do my best to help this organization. So he says, tell everybody to keep watching. Talk me out of believing Derrick Henry can still be a serious force for the Ravens in that backfield. Is he going to be worth, week by week, somebody that you target in the props market? Is he going to be somebody week by week that has at least a solid workload, a consistent workload there? Or are the Ravens just going to say, you know what? We're just going to be rolling through different running backs like they always do?
I will talk you into a Derrick Henry bet to lead the league in rushing touchdowns. That's
Okay.
what I'd talk you
Goal
into.
line? A lot of goal line?
A lot of goal line, absolutely. And just the threat of Lamar, because Derrick Henry, his whole career in Tennessee, has been the focal point, right? When teams throughout the week, when they create a defensive game plan, it's centered around Derrick Henry. When teams face the Ravens, it's centered around number 8, right? It's all about Lamar. You're spying with the QB. You're constantly watching him. You're taking away Andrews. You're taking away Zay Flowers. And now you got to put Derrick Henry in the mix as well. So Derrick Henry's really never been in an offense, obviously with a quarterback like Lamar, but never been in an offense where he wasn't the focus. And I think he's going to be a beneficiary of that.
He wasn't. Tennessee, is that a team that actually is made up of a true championship contender, like winning the whole entire thing? Or do you see some fatal flaws in them and all that may set them back?
I think they're really good, and they're older. I mean, it's an older team. They've got a lot of, they're starting, I think, 3 super seniors, 5th-year players. And I think, obviously, Dalton Connect gives them another dimension. Tennessee at various times, struggles to score. And now they've got a guy that they can just give it to him and he can go get you a bucket pretty much at any time. I think that makes them more dangerous than they have been in recent NCAA tournaments. I still wonder a little bit if there's enough scoring capacity on that roster. I think Connect is really good, but is there another guy that, if when they need it, can go get it for them? I mean, maybe Zakai Ziegler is that guy. But that, to me, is my question about Tennessee. Even with Connect, do they have enough different ways to score to go all the way in the big tournament?
I saw Lamont Paris got extended today for good reason, right? South Carolina was not expected to do what they've done. I think they were slated to be maybe second worst in the conference. What have you liked about what you've seen from them so far? Obviously, big win against Tennessee. They've had some big wins this year in general. Like, what do you like about them, and what do you think that they could be in the NCAA tournament?
They are one of the most physical teams I've ever seen. They're really good defensively. They know who they are. They don't try to do things offensively that they can't do. I mean, they're really well coached. I mean, Lamont Paris I think they were picked last in the SEC, and they have been they're a ranked team and a team that's going to be in the NCAA tournament. So he very much was the deserving SEC Coach of the Year.